In this bulletin, Nandali residents to remain indoors. Business operating applications assessed. And mobile unit to be part of next vaccination round.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Atera Lendua.
The Nandali Village Committee has requested all Matangali representatives to ensure movement in and around the village is halted. This as new COVID cases have been registered in areas around Nandali. Village Chair Viliame Wainingolo says some are still taking the decision lightly, which will not help contain the deadly virus. Parts of the Nandali village after the Nosori fire station is cordoned off as of Tuesday, with house-to-house swabbing continuing.
Various Matangalis in the village will have their own bubble. No one is allowed to enter other bubbles, and it's the Matangalis' responsibilities to ensure that this is followed. In the village, no one is allowed to enter another house, and they are to remain indoors.
The Ministry of Commerce has set up a team of assessors to carry out initial assessment on applications received by essential businesses. Permanent Secretary for Commerce and Trade, Shaheen Ali, says businesses wanting to reopen under COVID-safe measures will have to sign on and agree to firm protocols before they're allowed to operate. Ali says a team will be assessing the applications on a case-by-case basis. He adds businesses will have to meet a very strict criteria to qualify for the passes.
We have set up a team of assessors in the Ministry of Commerce who will be doing the initial assessment, getting all the documents from the business, the required SOPs, the staff list, etc., etc., and then compiling this, assessing it, and making recommendations. Once the recommendation is ready, the recommendation is sent to Ministry of Health, who then quickly approve, and then we print the pass and give it to individual businesses.
The Ministry of Health's vaccination plan for the next round includes taking vaccines to Fijians through mobile units. Permanent Secretary Dr. James Fong says this will ensure that all Fijians will be able to access the vaccine without having to travel far or waiting in queues. This as Fiji now has more vaccines through COVAX and will receive further deliveries from Australia and New Zealand later this week. By the end of the week, Fiji will have approximately 86,000 doses. Dr. Fong says for further convenience to the public, the ministry will also have drive-through vaccination sites. The locations of the mobile vaccination teams will be announced early next week. The priority for the ministry will be to provide first dose inoculation to the rest of the frontline workers and also complete the vaccination process for those who have already received their first dose. More than 22,000 food ration packs have been distributed so far to households in the Suva and Nosori containment areas. Ministry for Economy Coordinator Kamal Gaundar says distribution for the lockdown area ended yesterday. Distribution included those in home isolation and cordoned off areas. 15,381 packs were distributed in the last 4 days, 4,250 during the earlier lockdown, and 2,500 packs to households in isolation. The ministry says for now they will continue distributing rations to families in isolation and quarantined areas. The Fiji Police Force is ensuring its officers are provided the necessary support on how to manage difficult situations in this unprecedented time. Acting Commissioner of Police Rusiati Tundrabu says the workload is stressful for some officers as they ramp up operation. ACP Tundrabu says over 13,000 police officers are on duty under the COVID-19 operation. The Acting Commissioner says team leaders have also been reminded to provide the best system to manage the well-being of the officers. Tundravu adds that psychologists are also moving around to assist officers if the need arises.
We are continuing making awareness within amongst our police officers themselves. You know that the work is very stressful, and also we are encouraging our commanders on the ground to map out the rest cycle for our police officers.
Up ahead, still no word from witness on claims. An exciting touch rugby journey for Vondo. The Ministry of Environment is still awaiting a statement from the witness who filmed suspended Fiji football referees director Rakesh Varman after he allegedly dumped rubbish in a beach at the Coral Coast in Singatoka. Permanent Secretary for Environment Joshua Wycliffe says investigations are still in the early stages. He says the officers in charge of the case are still in the process of speaking to the witness.
We've initiated an investigation. The officers in charge have opened a file, and they will be pursuing the procedures that are required under the law. I am not sure if at this stage they have been able to speak to the witnesses. I understand they were going to speak.
For someone who grew up playing basketball all her life, Makireta Vondo never imagined seeing herself ever playing touch rugby on the international stage. The 30-year-old took up touch rugby as a hobby 3 years ago and since then hasn't stopped playing. She went to represent Fiji in 2019 at the Pacific Games in Samoa, where she won a bronze medal. Vondo says she does not regret taking up the sport.
I don't know much about the game at that time. But as time went on for the whole week of competition, I started to get more and more interested. I was later invited by a friend to join one of the touch rugby clubs in Suva. The name of the club is Too Fresh, which I have been a member for 3 years now.
Some showers and isolated thunderstorms over Kantavu, Lomaiviti, southern Lau Group, Tabiuni, and eastern parts of the interior of Viti Levu and Vono Levu. Elsewhere, cloudy periods with afternoon or evening showers and thunderstorm or isolated thunderstorms. Showers becoming frequent from tonight. That's FBC News Now. Join us again for our 1-hour major bulletin at 7 p.m. And be sure to download the FBC app to access the latest in news and sports and live radio broadcasts from any of our 6 FBC radio stations. You stay safe. Good afternoon.